You have developed some Andyisms. Is this right?
Yeah, I definitely believe curiosity is a superpower.
And I think that curiosity helps us get to where we want to be. You are a lifetime learner, man.
It can get complete control over your emotions. It can help with driving you to have that curiosity to learn.
Welcome to Building Your Sales Engine. I'm your host, Mark McGraw.
Hey, today in Building Your Sales Engine, we're going to sit down with Andy Sherman, who is an absolute lifetime learner of a guy and a wonderful human being. We start off talking about Andyisms, some beliefs he has, and what we end up doing is unpacking how do you be curious. So what a fantastic episode. I think you're going to like his insights a ton. So let's jump into Andy Sherman and talking about curiosity. I got Andy Sherman on Building Your Sales Engine. So Andy Sherman, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to our show. Welcome to our story. You are an amazing human being, and it's a joy getting to know you.
Well, thank you.
Andy, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and we're going to talk about some Andyisms today.
Yeah.
Not Sandler rules, but Andyisms.
Yeah. So I guess grew up in a construction company, bought it from my family in 2008. At the time, we were doing probably in the 20 million range. Joined Sandler, Bill McCrary.
Yep.
He was my trainer in 2015, and then took the company from that 20 to 30 million range to over 100 million. And then in 2020, decided to sell the company to a firm out of Virginia. Now currently work for them running our Greenville office. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, and I run the Greenville office for W.M. Jordan Company.
That is a wonderful thing, and you have grown a business, sold the business.
Yep.
Living your best life.
Yep. We're still have Sandler principals employed in the Greenville office and still continue to provide construction services for our clients, and still enjoying what I do.
You are one of the best implementers of Sandler that
Well,
I
thank you.
can really ever recall. And you live it, you breathe it, you implement it in so many facets.
Yeah.
And you got tremendous courage. You have developed some Andyisms. Is this right?
Well, that's what people call them on our classes and stuff, right? And so one of the ways that I found, so Sandler's a rules-based system, which is great. And I've converted some of those more to principles, if you will, because I feel like if we can get conviction behind our principles, then we can execute better. Versus it's just something I learned in a book. If I internalize it, turn it into a principle. This is a principle I live by. I have conviction. This is who I am. This is who I want to be.
Yep.
I have a much higher success of implementing it, right? And so put myself in the best chances to succeed. And so as I learned Sandler, as I listen to podcasts, as I read a book, something will jump out at me. If I'm listening to a podcast on the road, I pull my truck over on the side of the road. I pull my phone out. I'm like, I want to remember this.
You are a lifetime learner, man.
Yeah,
in a big way.
Again, curiosity is a superpower. That's one of mine that, as a kid,
that's an Andy?
That's Andyism. Curiosity is a superpower.
I love it.
So, like, when I was a kid, wanted to be Superman, wanted to fly, wanted to have all these type of superpowers, right? And then as I grew older, I realized that curiosity is a superpower. It can get complete control over your emotions. If you're a lifetime learner, it can help with driving you to have that curiosity to learn. Curiosity on the brain, you read psychology books. Curiosity on different techniques, you read sales books. Curiosity on life help, you read a life help coaching book or whatever that may be. And so having that curiosity supplants every other emotion. And so when you feel anger, when you feel depressed, if you become curious, it suppresses those emotions. Curiosity takes over. And so on a sales call, if you're starting to lose control of your emotion, if you can get really curious about the person you're talking to, all that stuff goes away and you become so honed in on the person you're having a conversation with that the fear of losing the sale or the anger that they're talking price, all that goes away because now I'm curious why we're talking price, right? Or I'm really curious about why they're talking to other people or whatever it may be.
Or let's say that they say, hey, this isn't a good time.
Yeah.
We're going to have to delay this. And you start to get curious about, well,
What
what is
makes
it?
that a bad time? And 6 months from now, what makes that a good time?
And is that in their best interest to wait? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's
Yeah.
not. Sometimes they start to realize.
And I have no emotion to that because I'm curious about it, and we get to the truth, and then, it is what it is.
If you were advising someone on how to be more curious, because sometimes I'll hear a manager say, my team needs to be more curious. If you were coaching somebody or giving somebody advice on if they're on a sales call, what do they do to be more curious?
So that's a great question. I'm not a naturally curious person. So
I'm shocked by that.
somebody says something, I want to answer, I want to fix. I'm a fixer. I'm a construction guy, right? We build stuff, we fix stuff. And so, and I'm of the male species. We like to fix problems, right? And so, not a naturally curious person, and would always skip steps or overlook important facets because I wasn't curious. And so the first thing that I started implementing was never answer a question without asking a question. We call it reversing.
Yeah.
But the reason I phrase it that way is because, one, it causes me to pause, because now I got to think of a question. I can't just answer whatever they said, so I pause. And then two, the answer I'm probably going to give is wrong. It's just a high probability that I'm thinking something, mutual mystification. I'm thinking something completely different than you are. And so ask a question for clarity. And then that pause allows me to tell myself, be curious.
Yeah.
Be curious. And
it's
the
a great
self-talk
technique.
of that. I journal it because it's that important that, you ask a question, I want to answer, right? And so I have to remind myself daily, and I tell myself, today, when you're asked a question, don't answer a question till you pause and ask them a clarifying question, and whatever it may be.
I just wrote down 3 things that I think are really cool. It'd be easy to miss for somebody, and that is, 1, journal it. Write it down. I'm curious. Sometimes we use a phrase, I'm curious, skeptical, and unattached to the outcome. The second one is that you technically use reversing.
Yeah.
So that anytime you're asked a question, you're going to reverse it. And I think the third one that you just mentioned that is super interesting is you have a mindset of, I'm likely to answer the wrong question.
Yeah, done that my whole life. Like, somebody would ask me a question, I'd answer it, and then they were like, yeah, not really where I was going with that. And I was like, boy, I made a fool out of myself.
Yeah,
right?
and you're sometimes 3 minutes into answering something, and you may or may not even realize that you're answering the wrong thing.
Yeah, that can even happen just in casual conversation with a wife or something. And so part of that journaling, I recognize. So when I got into Sandler and really started understanding curiosity, and I was around people that were curious, I realized I got an identity problem because I believe I'm not a curious person. And so in my journaling, I write, I am a curious person. What are the behaviors of a curious person? You'll pause before you answer. You'll ask questions. You'll ask a follow-up question. You'll ask clarifying questions. And so I work on the mindset to make me curious. And so even today, it feels like I'm a curious person. But, there's a saying, we always fall back to our most prepared state.
Yeah.
And so if I allow myself, I will fall back to the problem solver, quick answering question person. But I work on it every single day.
So have you reached a point where it's now natural, or do you feel like if you stopped journaling and you stopped doing all the things, you would revert back?
I do believe I'd revert back.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, again, it feels natural right now, but just like, if any habit that you stop cultivating will, that skill set will depreciate to your most comfortable state.
Yeah.
And my most comfortable state, solving problems. Answering, I'm a high D personality. It's quick sentences, solve problems, let's move to the next one, right? That's not what curious people do. Like, curious people get lost in the information because they are extremely curious about whatever it is they're engaged in, whether it's a relationship with somebody, whether it's a sales call, and understanding the pain of someone. Like, how do you how do you go through the pain funnel without being curious? Like, and that's where the genuineness of it comes. If I'm genuinely curious about what that person's feeling and going through.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here, my brain's just spinning in such a good way of like, it's like if somebody says to you, well, you'll need to send this to me. I'm going to take it to my boss, or I'm going to take it to the committee. You know, you can't get access to them. And I'm just thinking a very tangible, tactical thing. Well, there's a reason why they feel that way. What's the reason?
Yeah.
And so that curiosity would unpack that. By the way, there's another element to that, and that is that you have to have the courage to ask the question.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. I mean,
you're awesome at that.
I mean, the Santa rule, when you feel it, say it gently, right? You got to have the guts. But again, if it's a principle that we adopt and it becomes our identity, then it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't feel gutsy. It doesn't, like, this is who I am. And so, like, I want to know, what prohibits you from making the deal? And scale of 1 to 10, if you were to make the decision, like, again, you explained to me that you don't, but if you were, 10 being you'd move forward, 1 is you wish you never met me and I've been a complete waste of your time, where do you fall? And because again, I don't want them presenting anything if I don't have their buy-in. And so because that's what I believe, I'm convicted by it, it's my principle. It's not something, I don't want to say it's not hard, because things are hard, but I mean, I'm more comfortable doing it because it's who I am, and I want to be curious about it, and I want to know why that situation transpired that way.
I think a key ingredient to what you're talking about is to make sure that you're not doing the question because you're trying to persuade the person per se. I think the biggest thing is that your intent is to understand, and oftentimes we persuade people because of the question and its intent, as opposed to I'm trying to sell you on a different outcome. I'm trying to understand your perspective. Those are two different things. And the latter, to me, is far more potent as a seller. Doesn't always get you the outcome you want, but it's a more potent approach. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think understanding that, I'm trying to get to a situation where I can help you or not. And if I can't help you, I'm going to be the first to tell you. Yeah. Like, I don't need to convince you that I can help you. Like, if I can't convince myself, there's no point for me to try to convince you. And so that's getting into that level of comfort to have a conversation like that requires curiosity, because you are honestly internal to your soul trying to figure out, can I legitimately help this person? And if I can't, it's wrong for me to try to convince them, because I can't help them. It would be a bad investment of their time and energy and money.
It's motive matters, intentions matter, and I cannot explain it, but there is, to your point, and I can sense from you that it's almost an energy that you put off.
We think about, like, when we make a deal, like, we want it to be right, because I don't want to have to convince them every week. I don't want to have to reclose the deal every single week because they're questioning whether or not we can help. And so belief on their part is necessary. And I can't believe more than you. That's another one I go by. Like, you have to believe more than me, because I'm going to run out of energy trying to convince you week in and week out that we can help you, that we're right for you, or whatever. So if you don't adopt it, if it's not a core belief to you, like, when we run into problems, your belief system has to say, yeah, we knew we were going to run into problems, but we're your partner. We made the right choice. We can't be thinking every time we turn around, did we make the right choice? And so that's how, we get to the bottom of that up front. And if we can't get there, then it may not be a good fit.
I love and I got this from Bill McGraw, who you referenced earlier, but I remember him saying one time, if I'm more convicted than you, I become a persecutor. If I want to help you grow your sales more than you want to grow your sales, I become a persecutor. And it's very true in life. If I want my kids to have a clean room more than they want to have a clean room, we become a persecutor. And it's the same with sales as well. And I think that curiosity helps us get to where we want to be.
Yeah, I definitely believe curiosity is a superpower.
Yeah. It's funny. We started off to talk about a number of Andyisms. I think we got a great one right there, and that's the beauty of sitting down with somebody as cool as you, and we get to explore something really deep. We really ended up unpacking curiosity and its value to salespeople, and it's a pretty tight story right there.
Yeah,
Andy.
in other organizations, you hear ABC always be closing, right? And we say always be curious.
Yeah.
Because that is what drives us to finding out truth.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that I had to develop. And I probably, when you work so hard for something, it becomes more important to you.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm not naturally curious, and I've had to work and develop questioning strategies and mindset strategies to force myself to be curious, that's probably why I weight it so high. But different parts of our life or different parts of our journey, other principles and rules kick in for a season, and we adopt those and focus on those. But here lately I've been focused on curiosity.
I tell you what we'll do is we'll have you back and we'll unpack some more
Absolutely,
Andyisms, because I wrote down 5 over here
Yeah.
that I would love to dive into.
Yeah, man,
So,
happy to do it anytime.
that is awesome.
Thanks,
awesome.
Mark.
You're such a good soul, and I always enjoy and appreciate all the good stuff that you put into when you join into the workshops with other folks that are practicing and learning Sandler. You always add so much and learn so much and contribute, and it's just such a joy to be around.
Yeah, well, I'm a lifetime student. I believe that every session I'm involved in, I will learn. I will be able to share.
What a mindset.
I will be able to learn from others. People have only been in for 2 weeks, and can still learn from them and provide encouragement. And I ask myself every day, how can I serve, right? Because my job is to serve clients, serve my team, and serve my family. Like, how can I serve? One of the ways I can serve is, encouraging others to, hey, Sandler works. Like, we get convicted by it. It works. Implement it. Have the courage to do it, and your outcomes will convert.
It's a matter of time.
Yep, consistency.
Andy, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Always
brother.
a pleasure, sir.
Good to see you.
So, hey, I hope you've gotten a ton of value out of this episode. By far, it's our purpose to help people make money and have fun and have a good time. We're here to help improve your life, to help you make it easier to go sell or to manage your sales team, and ultimately to go build your own sales engine. Don't miss an episode. Best way to go do that is to make sure that you jump out to buildingyoursalesengine.com/follow, where you can link up to all of our latest episodes. For more information about this episode, go to buildingyoursalesengine.com, where you can download show notes, transcripts, and other information, including handouts, snapshots of this and other episodes. If you'd like to connect with us to talk about how we can help you build your sales engine, and you are either located in the state of Georgia or are referred to us by one of our clients or affiliated by one of our clients, please reach out to us at buildingyoursalesengine.com, where you can click there to book some time with us. We can find out how we can be of help with one another. If you're not in either of those two circumstances, please reach out to Sandler.com, where you can find a Sandler office near you. Be well.